Welcome to the Inspired to Greatness podcast, a show designed to inspire and motivate business people to achieve their greatest potential. In this episode, we'll be discussing a topic that is often overlooked but is essential in both personal and professional life, and that is kindness. Many people associate business with cutthroat competition and dog-eat-dog mentality. But the truth is that kindness can be a powerful tool in achieving success. Whether it's building strong relationships with customers, creating a positive work environment for employees, or networking with other professionals, kindness can go a long way in helping you achieve your goals. In this episode, we'll be exploring the importance of kindness in business and sharing some practical tips on how to cultivate kindness in your daily interactions. So sit back, relax, and get ready to be inspired to greatness through the power of kindness.
Inspired, of extraordinary quality, as if arising from some external creative impulse. Greatness, the state, condition, or quality of being great. This is Inspired to Greatness.
All right. Welcome to the Inspired to Greatness show, the show all about spreading inspiration, motivation, and being great. I am your host, DJ Matt Blake. I hope you're having an amazing day today, my friends. Today we're talking about kindness. Kindness is so very important, and I want to give you a little personal note on kindness. So I'm recording this show on a Friday evening. It is Friday at 6:15 in the evening. Normally I record it on a Wednesday afternoon, Tuesday, Thursday, something like that. But I was having some trouble myself getting motivated to sit down and record the show. I've been reflecting on a lot of stuff this week. And by the way, I believe it was Michelle Hill who gave me this idea for this topic this week. So big shout out to her. She's got a podcast called the All Junked Up podcast. And it's great stuff. She's a fabulous young lady. We'll probably have her on the show soon. But so 2 days from now will be the 1 year anniversary of when I had a seizure. Out of nowhere last year. I don't know if I've talked about this on the podcast before. I maybe have. I had a seizure last year, and it was out of nowhere, and I mean, we can get into the details of that on some show sometime if you guys feel like that's an important thing. However, it changed my life. It was a dramatic and instantaneous change to the whole dynamic of my life and everything going on. And if you have personal questions about experiencing a seizure and the aftermath of all that, I'm happy to message me. I'll answer them. But one thing that was a surprising and almost miraculous side effect of that was I experienced immense amounts of kindness from a lot of places, some very unexpected. Kindness just started pouring itself out on me. I was having a very bad time. I was very stressed. There was a possibility of a brain tumor, just to be honest with you guys. And we had to wait on testing. It was 6 weeks between being told I had a brain tumor and when I found out there was nothing there. So for 6 weeks, we thought I had a brain tumor. We had no idea what was going on. Very scary time. And the thing that got me through a lot of that was the kindness of other people. My adult son, I have a 21-year-old son named Darian. After a seizure, you're not allowed to drive. You can't drive because what if you have another seizure? You'll wreck your car, right? So I called my adult son and I said, hey, listen, I have DJ gigs I still have to cover. I have trivia every week and all this stuff, but I can't drive myself. And I'm hurt. Like I was also physically hurt from the fall I took when I had the seizure. Do you think you could come help me out for a while? And without even question, he just moved into my house and drove me everywhere I needed to go and helped me. And it was amazing. Kindness from my own son. And I had friends, co-workers, my ex-wife, my family, so many people in the industry, everyone, clients, everyone just pouring out kindness on me. And that probably is why I didn't go into a ridiculous spiral of depression and stress and freak out and go insane was probably from the kindness of other people. And a big part of that, like I said, was Darian. Now he lives here full time. We had so much fun together when he moved in with me, that I said, "Hey, listen, I love having you here. It's a gas, and your brothers love having you around more. Would you like to move in with me full time?" And he said, "Yeah." So now he lives here, and it's just good times. But anyway, we're talking about kindness today, and as you know, kindness, in the example I just gave, can have a huge impact when you receive it in your personal life. But we're going to talk about showing kindness and giving kindness. And we're going to try to talk about how to do that in your business. And I know, the old school thinking is dog eat dog, alpha male's going to get it. And we've discussed before that that's not really the way the world works anymore, That was how the old school, like 80s, 90s, maybe early 2000s. But now compassion, empathy, and kindness has replaced the aggressive alpha male sales mindset of business. So bear that in mind as we continue on this topic. So let's hit up some quotes, some awesome quotes about kindness to get us started today. First is Ralph Waldo Emerson. You cannot do kindness too soon, for you never know how soon it will be too late. That was real for me. If I hadn't received immense and immediate kindness, it was probably going to go a bad way for me, and it's never too early to express kindness to someone or to help someone out of kindness. So bear that in mind. Don't put it off. Princess Diana, who we all loved, said, "Carry out a random act of kindness with no expectation of reward, safe in the knowledge that one day someone might do the same for you." The key in there is in the pause, with no exception of reward. All right? So you can't do kindness because of what you're going to get out of it. That's not what kindness is about. It's like in the Bible when it talks about the people who are out there praying to be seen praying. That's not how you get your reward. And I have a real problem with the people who video themselves going out and being kind, like giving money to charity or giving money and helping homeless people and recording that and posting that. I think that is exactly playing to that biblical stricture of doing kindness to be seen doing kindness is wrong. Just like being a good person, praying in public and loud and running your mouth and quoting the scriptures just to be seen doing that is not the way to do it. You pray privately. You worship God privately. You don't need to do it publicly. That's not a thing. Anyway, and James Barrie says, always be a little kinder than necessary. Because honestly, what is the alternative? Like to just kind of go along to not be kind? You should always choose kindness over any other response to an action. That's, one of the key things I say about being responsible for. You're the only influence that can control how you act and respond to things. You might not be able to control everything that happens to you. However, you can certainly control how you choose to respond to that. Paul in the chat room says the left hand isn't supposed to know what the right hand doing. That's right. That's biblical. So do your kindness to make it kind. If you do kindness all over the place, every day, all the time, for lots of people, and it's never seen, you'll receive a greater reward for that kind of kindness. And Darian, my son, isn't out there like, yeah, I helped my dad, I really helped him when he needed it. Like, I'm praising my son. Like, if you do kindness the right way, other people will sing your praises. That's where your reward will come in. You do things because it's the right thing to do, to be kind and to show that kindness, and then your reward will come in the way people talk to you when you're not around and the way people treat you back in return. But you have to do it not expecting a reward. You have to be kind to that stranger expecting that they're going to spit in your face, basically. because that's what the world will do to you a lot of times. So we live in a world, speaking of, that can be often harsh and unforgiving. It's easy to get caught up in our own problems and forget about the needs and struggles of others. It certainly is. But kindness has the power to break through the noise and bring light even to the darkest of situations. If you're in a very difficult situation and someone's being mean and hateful, they're probably doing it because they're struggling. If you choose to show kindness in those moments, you can make their day a little bit brighter. When we show kindness to others, that's what we do. We make their day a little brighter. We also create a ripple effect, and because kindness is contagious. One small act of kindness can inspire others to do the same. I don't like the pay it forward thing, like at Starbucks, where you pay for the person behind you and they pay for the person behind. I don't like that. I think that's goofy. I just don't like it. I don't know why I don't like it. If you like it, hey, good on you. I don't think that's, I think people who do that then go brag about it on Facebook usually, and they talk about how I'm such a good person. I paid for the person behind me. Yeah, but yours got paid for. So you're not really paying anything forward. I love the people who go up and they're like, oh, cool, they paid for mine. And they're like, you want to pay for the person behind you? And they're like, no. But anyway, a ripple effect. That's a good example of a ripple effect. But nobody ends up getting their coffee for free. Everybody's paying for the person behind them. So I don't know what the point is really. But you really, it may seem insignificant when you do a kindness for someone, especially if it's a small thing, but you really never know how much that is going to impact someone else's life. And you don't know who's watching. Like, you don't know who's watching and seeing what you're doing, or who that person who you showed a kindness to is going to tell about it later, right? They could go and tell that story of kindness to someone else, and it inspires someone you don't even know. It creates a kindness inside someone, a spark that you don't even know that person. The beauty of kindness is generally it costs you nothing unless you're buying someone's coffee in the drive-thru. You don't need to be wealthy, famous, or powerful to show kindness. In fact, I find that it's the people who are less wealthy, less famous, and don't have much power that show kindness, because those folks really understand the benefit and the power of kindness. All you have to have is a compassionate heart and a willingness to make a difference. That's a key. You're making a difference simply by showing kindness because of the world we live in and what it's like. It would be nice if a small act of kindness didn't make a big difference because the world was a kind place, but it's not. And so you, and the reason we're here is to take care of each other and really show that kindness and love and compassion on other people. It can make a huge impact. But kindness is not just about doing good for others. It's also about doing good for yourself. When you show kindness, you feel good. It's a natural mood booster. It's an enhancer that can reduce stress and anxiety. It improves your overall well-being. We're talking about from a mental and an emotional standpoint. Kindness is a win-win for everybody involved. You're not going to lose out on something because you show kindness to someone else. I promise you that. If you think, oh, I'm missing an opportunity because I'm showing kindness, and you can show kindness in so many different ways, but you're not going to miss anything. You're going to gain. You're really going to gain in it. So I challenge you to try to carry out one random act of kindness today. Well, obviously not today. Whenever you listen to this podcast, it's late in the day today. It can be as simple as holding the door open for someone, offering a genuine compliment to someone, like, "Hey, I really like your shirt." You know, when I grew my beard, I only had a beard for 4 years. Before that, I just had a goatee. But the other men who "Hey man, nice beard. I like your beard game." It's crazy to me all of a sudden how many strangers that are men are stopping me and "Hey man, your beard looks great. I like it." It's nuts. A little thing and that I would get an immediate boost. I'm like, "Hey, that's awesome. That's cool. That feels great." So offer a compliment, hold the door, little things like that. Don't do it with the expectation of getting something in return. Don't be like, "Hey, you look really great today. I like your attitude. You're doing awesome." And then stand there and stare at them and expect them to show a kindness back. You can't expect anything. That's not why you do this. Do it simply because it's the right thing to do. And who knows, one day someone's going to do the same thing for you. I mean, if you show kindness all the time in your circle, then that's the kind of stuff you're going to attract in your life. That's what's going to be around you. And so it'll get back to you, because as you show kindness on a regular basis to those around you, they will become kinder, and they will see that example, and they will want to show kindness. And I guarantee you, people are going to show kindness first to those who have shown kindness to them. It's just a thing that happens. Remember, kindness is a choice. Kindness is a choice. It's a choice to make the world a better place, one small act at a time. So go out there and make a difference. You have the power to change the world with one kind gesture at a time. All right, we're going to talk about some business tips. And the business tip, of course, is always related to our topic, is 5 keys for cultivating kindness in your daily interactions as a business owner. And you can apply these even if you don't own the business. You can apply these, as somebody who is a leader or executive or sales or whatever. You can always do these no matter your position. Number 1 is lead by example. You don't have to own the company to lead by example. You can be the newest hire and lead by example. As a business owner, though, you set the tone for your whole team. Make an effort to model kindness in your interactions with employees, customers, and vendors. Say please, say thank you, use positive language, and be patient and understanding when things don't go as planned. Because, I've been a business owner for a long time. I've owned a business of some kind or another almost my whole life. And I'm going to tell you, things will go wrong. The wheels will fall off. It's not if, it's a when. It happens all the time. It happens all the time to me. Happens all the time to everyone I know who owns or runs a business. Okay, things go wrong. And if you choose to be angry and lash out, things will happen one way. If you choose to show kindness and compassion and slow down in those moments, patience and understanding, that goes a long way. And if you're leading a team, that shows your team how they should respond when the wheels fall off. And if you're working with your customers, that shows them that, hey, he can handle it, she can handle it when things go bad. And people will appreciate that. Especially, imagine if your vendor does something wrong, and how are they going to feel if you choose to lash out at them versus how are they going to feel if you choose to show compassion and kindness in that moment, understanding and empathy. If you've not listened to our episodes on emotional intelligence, the EQ, especially the episode on compassion, I urge you to go back and give a listen to those episodes, because they're hugely important, and they can really, really impact the way your life works. Okay, so number 1 was lead by example. And I'll remind you, you can lead by example in any position. It doesn't matter if you're the CEO, the owner, the leader, or if you're a new hire. You can still set the example and set the bar for the appropriate attitude and actions wherever you are. Number 2 is listen actively. One of the most effective ways to show kindness is to just truly listen to others. Because in this world, so many people are just waiting for their moment to talk, waiting for their moment to pounce, waiting to interject their opinion and what they have to say. Pay attention to what people are saying. Ask questions to clarify their points, and show empathy for their concern. What are you concerned about? What are we talking about? Show interest and concern about what they're talking about. Listening actively will help you build stronger relationships and create more positive work environment. So if somebody on your team comes to you and they're talking to you, and you're just waiting to tell them, defend. The biggest way I see this go wrong is people listen and they're just waiting for their opportunity to come on and defend themselves, right? You've had that interaction with your significant other or with your kids or a coworker or a friend while you're having a discussion or a disagreement, and all they do is immediately jump to defend themselves. If you start with understanding, kindness, compassion, and empathy, and you play the kindness card, and your first response is to apologize for whatever the reason is, and then show understanding, explain to them, you understand why they're frustrated, you understand, now let's work on fixing this together. And what could I do to make you feel better about the situation? Or what do you think I could do to correct the situation? Tell me what would have been an ideal outcome for you in this situation. Instead of like immediately jumping to, well, this isn't my fault. This isn't my problem. I didn't do anything, blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? So it'll work in your personal life just as well as in your business. And I think you can see that example and you can understand it better when you've seen it in your life and then put that in practice, that listening actively in your business. So number 1, lead by example. Number 2, listen actively. Number 3, I feel like we've already talked about this so much, practice gratitude. Folks, you will absolutely change your entire life if you start practicing gratitude and being grateful for everything you have. If gratitude is where you lean in, you're done. You're set. You're a winner. Showing gratitude is a powerful way to cultivate kindness. So take time to express appreciation for your team members, those that work for you or work with you, customers, and your vendors. Showing empathy, practicing gratitude toward your vendors is huge. It's the biggest thing in business, I think, that is done wrong. People look at their vendors like, you should do what I want, how I want, when I want it. There shouldn't be any mistakes. If there's a mistake, better watch out. And so vendors live in fear of screwing up rather than living in, I love working for this customer. And if your customer loves working for you, or if your vendor loves working for you, they're going to do a much better job than if they're just afraid to screw up working for you. Say thank you for a job well done. Recognize people's accomplishments and celebrate successes. Small gestures of gratitude go a long way in creating a positive atmosphere. Business owners, regularly express gratitude for those who work for you. I am so grateful that you are on our team. I'm so grateful. Can you remember having a boss that was Pat Castillo is in the chat room. Holy moly, what a wonderful woman. She says a grateful attitude is everything. She's right. I'm grateful for Pat Castillo. She is a wonderful woman. If you guys go find her on my Facebook, she owns the Tattered Pearl. And she is just a wonderful, wonderful person. And I'll tell you right now, that woman expresses kindness every time I've ever seen her. She's a wonderful, wonderful lady. Thank you. I'm grateful, Pat, that you're in the chat room watching and listening today. But gratitude in your personal life, I mean, not even talking about business. Gratitude in your personal life will change the way you perceive your entire world. You all know those people who are never happy. They're always wanting something more than they have. They never stop down and feel grateful for what they have. I'll tell you, we talk about gratitude in every episode of this podcast. We talk about gratitude in every episode of this podcast because it is so important. I feel like gratitude is just the topic of the podcast. It's not inspired to greatness. It's inspired through gratitude. I don't know. I feel like that's how we should discuss it. But anyway, small gestures of gratitude are huge in your business, in that environment, in that atmosphere to make other people feel appreciated and feel kindness. Expressing gratitude outwardly is what we're talking about as far as kindness. So number 1 is lead by example. Number 2 is listen actively. Number 3, probably the biggest one around, practice gratitude. Number 4, prioritize flexibility. Being rigid and inflexible can create unnecessary stress and tension. When possible, be open to making adjustments to your plans or processes. Allow flexibility in your interactions with others. And then show understanding when unexpected circumstances arise. Because, like we've already discussed, something is going to happen, and you're going to have to roll with the punches. And if you show flexibility and you show understanding when those things happen, like, oh, I know we were supposed to have a meeting, but can we do it a little earlier? Can we do it a little later? Be flexible on those. Be like, sure, I can manage whatever will work for you, move some stuff around. Again, showing that kindness outwardly in being willing to be flexible and work with people is just a way to increase the positivity in the atmosphere wherever you are. Flexible with your kids, it also works in your personal life. You know, I have band practice. Oh, band practice got changed. I have football practice, wrestling practice. I have to go to work, but this changed. Can you take me? Can you move me? Oh, this can't happen. There's so many ways that things come up. I have 5 kids. I have 3 kids still in school, involved in all kinds of sports and activities and fine arts and musicals. By the way, speaking of brag on my kids a little bit, my 16-year-old Patrick just got his form, and we ordered his Letterman jacket. I'm very excited. He lettered as a sophomore in wrestling, so that's very, very cool. And he also got the part he just tried out for in their musical group they're in outside of school. They're doing Beauty and the Beast, and he is going to be Gaston. And I'm very, very excited for him. He's 6 foot tall. He's got a long ponytail. He's going to be an amazing Gaston. So I'm excited to see that. Anyway, gotta brag on my kids at every possible opportunity. Okay, we got 5 of them. Lead by example. Number 2, listen actively. Practice gratitude. Number 4, prioritize flexibility. And number 5, be generous. So many people are stingy when it comes to everything. Be generous. Kindness often involves acts of generosity. So look for ways to be generous with your time, your resources, and your expertise. Offer to mentor someone, volunteer in your community, donate to a charitable cause. Generosity not only helps others, but it can be personally rewarding and fulfilling. I'll tell you right now, I substitute teach in my kids' school district that I live in. And I don't do it because the pay is great. I do it because they need it. And the students need people to come in and fill those roles so that the students understand that they're important and they matter, and showing the kindness of giving your time. I had a pastor one time who used to say love is spelled Time, and that's how your children will perceive love. When you give your time to your children, you're showing them that they matter, they're important, and you love them. I know so many guys and ladies who are so busy in their career and their business that they don't show a lot of time for their kids specifically and their family. And you can see it on those kids' faces sometimes. And I saw it on my kids' faces when I worked in the oil field and other jobs. But now I'm with my kids all the time. I just took my kids camping last weekend, and I devote my Thursday nights to my kids, and we stay home. We have family dinners, and I play video games with my kids, and spending that time. You might not care about what some stupid video on YouTube, but if you have your 11 or 12-year-old and they ask you to watch a video on YouTube and you sit down with them and you watch that video, they're going to remember those kind of times. And the time you're there is going to make a bigger impact than remembering the times you weren't there. And the problem isn't you're not making an impact when you're not there. The problem is the big impact of being there is really what sets your kids up for how they should treat the world and their kids in the future. And so if you don't have that, then your kids are left lost and thinking it doesn't matter and stuff like that. Pat Castillo, again in the chat room, showing how amazing she is. She said, every day I give something away at the shop. She has a really cool little shop called the Tattered Pearl. Google it. You can't afford not to be generous. Your spirit needs it. That's right. That's right. In a world where we were created and live, and our Creator sent His Son down here to give away His entire life so that we could enjoy our lives, then why are you not being kind to your friends and neighbors? I mean, God has given you the option, but don't you feel guilty by wasting your life that was given to you and the freedom and the love shown to you by God and Jesus? You feel like you're wasting it if you're not kind? I feel like if you're not expressing kindness, you're wasting your life. I got to be honest with you. So anyway, there they are, the 5 keys. of cultivating kindness in your daily interactions as a business owner. Number 1, lead by example. 2, listen actively. 3, practice gratitude. For God's sake, gratitude, people. Prioritize flexibility. And number 5, be generous. My tip that I want to give you guys today on how to grow and expand your business is network. Network and join your local chamber. Find you a networking group. I go to lunch on Tuesdays with a group, a networking group, and there's 50 to 60 of us there. It's huge. I've been going 4 years, I think 4 or 5 years, maybe longer, that I've been going to this group. And I have cultivated not only friendships, but mentorships. People from that group have been on the podcast. I've gone out socially with those. I've made great friends through networking, but it also expands the reach of my business because when people in the group have been clients of mine, but by and large, out of the 60 people, probably everyone I've met in that group with people rotating in and out, it's probably 80 to 100 people or more. Maybe 3 or 4 of them have hired me as a DJ to do work. But the amount of people they've referred me to, I couldn't count it. I could not count the referrals I've gotten because all these people know me. They like me. I network with them on a weekly basis. Like my daughter is fixing to sell her house and buy a new one. And she's like, hey, I need a mortgage person. Like, here's a mortgage person. Call them. I have lunch with them every Tuesday. Or my parents need a new AC. I'm like, here, call this AC guy. I have lunch with him every Tuesday. And not only is it you have this huge network where you can pull resources from, but also if you have to sit across the table from someone and have lunch with them every week, you're not going to do a bad job. Just they have to look me in the face. They're not going to do a bad job because they are going to be held accountable to me and the rest of our group. I'm going to see them every week. So it's really, really cool to, and the chamber, your local chamber of commerce is just a huge, huge resource that you should take advantage of. They'll have groups you can go to. They'll have events you can go to. And really the people that participate in a local chamber of commerce are going to be the leaders in the community. And those are the people you want access to grow your business. This has nothing to do with kindness. This is about growing your business, this tip. But anyway, we'll move on to the second half of the show here, get us wrapped up with our motivational moment. So we'll talk about a few more quotes, and then we'll wrap up. I really appreciate you guys. I am very grateful for those who have been downloading the podcast. In the last few weeks, my podcast downloads have gone up 595%. 595%. It's a huge jump in my numbers, and I'm so very thankful and grateful to all my listeners out there, those people who share the show, and the people who download it every week. My 2 of my sons are listening to the show now, and they talk to me about it. And they're like, hey, I just finished the episode. My girlfriend listens to the show now. Hey, I just finished the episode on confidence. I'm like, I appreciate that. People who I network with listen to the show. They're going to be on the show. So I've got some great guests coming up. I'm very excited about them. So stay tuned for all that. But here we go. Let's do 3 more quotes and we'll wrap up the show. Harold Kushner said, do things for people not because of who they are or what they do in return, but because of who you are. Kindness, when you do it, is not done because this person deserves kindness. Kindness, when you do it, is done is because you are a kind person. You should be a kind person. And when you repeatedly do it over and over again, I promise you, it will change who you are. If you're kind of a aggressive and gruff kind of person, I promise if you start leaning into kindness, you will become a softer, more approachable, and a kinder person because you do it. It'll change who you are. It'll change who you are. God doesn't show us kindness and favor because of who we are. God shows us kindness and favor because of who he is. And I mention the Bible a lot on my show. I mention God, Jesus a lot on my show. I do it because all the lessons you need to learn in your life are found in the Bible. They really are. I oftentimes say when I'm raising my kids that, geez, it's crazy that we have no idea what we're doing raising these kids. And it's crazy that our parents had no idea what they were doing either. It's not like there's an instruction book. But then I think further, and there really is an instruction book. There's an instruction book for how to raise your family, how to raise kids, how to treat your friends, family, and spouse, how to run your business. There is an instruction book. It's the Bible. And everything you need to know, and you might not be able to find it easily, but I promise you it's in there. And a huge key is just loving others and treating people with kindness. Love other people Jesus said it's the law above all laws. All the laws can be summed up in love your neighbor. He said that. And Jesus is the authority on this kind of stuff. So do things for people not because of who they are or what they do for you, but because of who you are. Or if you're working on yourself, like I am, like a lot of us are, who you want to be. Who you want to be. Jackie Chan, who is one of my most favorite actors. I love his 90s action movies. They're just awesome and funny and entertaining. He said sometimes it takes only one act of kindness and caring to change a person's life. That is so true. You can completely change someone's whole life. You can turn around their whole life because it's that one little moment, and that's not the thing. Like, they're not going to think. But if someone's having the worst day, they've been having a horrible time in their life, and you come along and you do something kind for them, and they feel their soul give that sigh of relief, and they have that moment, then that can temper their whole day. And their day can become a great day because you gave them that kindness and gave their stress and frustration, and you gave their heart a chance to sigh and have some relief and take a breath. And that one day can kickstart a whole kind of personal recovery for that person. So do it because you can change people's lives, but do it because of who you are. And finally, Henry James said, 3 things in human life are important. Are you ready? The first is to be kind. The second is to be kind. And the third is to be kind. It's wrapping it all up. All the laws and the prophets. It's kindness and love, folks. 3 things are in human life are important. 1, to be kind. 2, to be kind. 3, to be kind. It's just how it is. Imagine the world we could live in if we were all expressing more kindness and more compassion and more understanding toward other people, and then expressing gratitude about where we are in our life and the things we have. Okay? It's very, very important. Thank you so much for joining us today on this episode of the podcast, where we've been discussing the importance of kindness in our business and, of course, in our lives. I hope this conversation has inspired you to make kindness a core value in your business and in your daily interactions. As we have seen, kindness is not only beneficial to those around us, but can also have a positive impact on our business. It can help us build stronger relationships with our customers, create a positive work environment for our employees, and differentiate ourselves from competitors. Kindness can also contribute to our own personal and professional growth, helping us develop important skills such as empathy, communication, and leadership. It's going to differentiate you from everyone else. If you are kind and others are not kind, the world is going to want to be around the kind people. They're going to want to work with you and be with you. But it's important not to just do that because of the reward, but know, and maybe it'll make it easier to show and live out kindness because that reward is coming and will come. It's important to remember that kindness doesn't have to be complicated, doesn't have to be costly. Just small, tiny acts of kindness, such as expressing gratitude, active listening, being flexible, they can have significant impacts on those around us. It really can change someone's whole life, can change their world. If someone's having a horrible time and you show them kindness, that could change their day, and they could go home and instead of being frustrated and short with their children, they could also show kindness and compassion and love on their children, remembering how you treated them. And then you, through a simple act of kindness, have changed the dynamic of an entire family. I'm telling you, it is huge. I'm getting goosebumps. I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it, because That one guy who is mean and angry and gruff, and he's going to go home and his kids have a problem and he's not going to want to deal with it because he's angry and frustrated about what he has to go through. But you show him that kindness, and he sees that maybe, just maybe, that kindness can change everything, and his heart is softened. And so he goes home and he is kind and he is compassionate and he is sweet and loving with his kids, who then turn around and do great things in the world, and it strengthens his relationship with his kids and with his spouse and with that family. And then what will that family go on and do? What kind of greatness will that family live out because they became a stronger family because of some small kindness you did to some stranger walking down the street or riding on the bus or whatever it is? Kindness is immensely important, and not just because the Bible says so and God showed it to us and now we can live our lives, but because you can change other people while you change yourself just by being a kind person. So as we wrap up this episode, I encourage you to take the lessons we've learned, the things we've talked about, put them into practice. Express and embrace kindness as a core value of your business. Commit to making a difference in the lives of those around you. Together, we can create a kinder, more compassionate world, one small act at a time. All right? Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Inspired to Greatness. Please check back with me each week for fresh tips, new topics. I have guests upcoming. You guys are going to love them. Visit the website at itgpodcast.com. Look for us on Spreaker, iHeart, iTunes, Spotify. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, please visit itgpodcast.com/beourguest. If you have a topic suggestion, email us. You can find the show on Facebook at Inspired Podcast, on Instagram at Inspired to Greatness Podcast, and all those links and everything is on the website at itgpodcast.com. So thanks again, my friends. You guys are awesome. Go do amazing things. Be awesome. Go inspire, motivate, and dominate. See you next week.